Good evening, guys. Rusty here, and welcome to Impact Dynamics Live is back through Gear Night. Can you turn your phone off, Plushy? Here he is, ruining the first guest up, and he's already making our show a challenge. Look at him fumble over there. How are you, mate?
Doing really well, mate. How about yourself?
Good. I've already introducing our first guest, but I've got a few things to do before we get too far into that. Hey, I've missed you guys. It's been fun. It was fun doing the live show, and then for the last however many weeks it's been nothing going on. I say nothing going on. There's been heaps going on. I spent most of my time redoing the Scoped Out website, which worked out well because they've actually that's the sponsor of this show. So I spent all my time on this little thing happening here, and just all sorts of stuff. One of the cool things in there that I enjoyed doing was the ring height calculator, so you can work out what height rings you need and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, so some information coming up about that. But that's been what I've been doing, and then of course we were in depth with getting PRS up and running, and we were about. We made all the calls, got everyone on board. It was all about to happen, and then over a weekend where infections started to grow again, it went south, and as many of you guys are aware by now, the 2020 season is cancelled, and because of that. I've got more time on my hands, so to speak, and so I thought, well, let's get back in front of the camera and do some live shows because I enjoy doing it, and hopefully, enough people enjoy doing it. At least they told me they enjoyed it happening. So we're back doing some live shows, but we thought we'd put a different slant on it. One, it won't be every night, so sorry to the Victorians who are locked up and probably are looking for something every night, but we've got other things to do. But there are other projects, and the actual podcast coming back, and some other videos are in the works as well. So we thought we'd put a focus on it of equipment, because so often we don't delve deep into equipment. We talk about it a bit, but we don't delve deep into it because we don't want people to think that you have to have all the latest gear and all the best gear to be able to shoot PRS or whatever other sport it is. But it is the sexiest part of what we do. It's the best looking, apart from the shooters, of course. But it is the best looking part of what we do, and it really does make a difference. So we thought we'd set up an environment where we can actually talk in depth about gear, equipment, and programs, and all sorts of stuff. So over the coming months, really, I've got a number of guests lined up who are, experts in the field or have big experience across disciplines, across multiple guns and that sort of thing. And we're going to be picking their brains about what they've used, what's worked for them, what hasn't worked for them, all of those sort of things. So that is the goal. I have got notes and what's different here about other times is the camera's over there and my screen's over there, so I'll be weird looking away. But the other thing I wanted to let you know that this is not just limited to PRS stuff, by the way. There will be people who have used pistols and might want to talk about those. There will be shotgun stuff, no doubt. This is really the history of what people have used, and hopefully you find that interesting, as many of us find it fascinating to explore at least some of the equipment that's used in other disciplines or stuff that has been around for a long time, and guns that may be hard to get hands on, or from periods in history. Find people who know stuff about that. So we are Gear Night is probably a good way to put it. We're talking about all sorts of gear, all sorts of equipment, and we will see how we go. But of course, we predominantly long range PRS shooters. We're going to talk about that a bit as well. We've got all sorts of stuff lined up with a whole stack of guests for a number of months already, and looking forward to getting more on board as well. So if you are enjoying this, actually, Plushy, come around here for a second. What's different as well at the moment is we can sort of be a little bit, not that close, not go around. Come around here. We can be a little bit closer these days, and so not all my guests will be on Zoom. So hey, now is the time, if you would be so kind, either screenshot this and put it on Instagram. Let's do a face in a second. We'll wait for it, or share this out. We would love to get a whole stack of people watching and provide value to information to those sort of guys. So if you're ready for screenshots, get those phones ready. Let's here we go. I don't know what we're doing here. Don't touch me, that's just weird. All right, hopefully it's his birthday as well, so tag him in, yeah, happy birthday. All right, you're off to get tested now.
I'm positive
Well,
for everything.
I like the positive attitude. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. What else do we need to tell you? I think that is about it for the intro, guys. Just to bring you up to speed on what's been going on and doing things. We're going to talk about this. This is always meant to be something that we featured in the last show, and we just never got around to it because too much was going on. So we're going to delve into a bit of Plushy's shooting history. If you have comments and questions or anything along those lines, let's get into that as well. But Plushy, maybe give us a quick little 30-second grab of what you've done in the shooting world. Keep it quick.
Oh, not much.
All right, good.
No, so I grew up like a lot of people on shooting as a teenager, I suppose, or a young fella. Sort of moved out of shooting for a little bit, and then a good friend of mine I went to school with, Greg Hamilton. He's been sort of involved in this scene for a while. He got me back into it with the 22s, and it progressed from there. I got into F class. I've been cured, and I sort of found my way into PRS, and I'm hooked. It's probably the best word to explain that one.
Yeah, nice, mate. So if I ask you, what was the first gun you ever shot? Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was an air rifle.
Okay.
It was a Diana 17 caliber. Nothing, the old single break action.
Yep.
Pump it up and go from there. Used to spend hours, school holidays, I'd spend hours and hours and hours on end just shooting that thing. At targets, cans, anything I was allowed to shoot.
Yep. Yeah. So you were like they grew up with it really, in the backyard or wherever, and just shot away. Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
I think many of our viewers probably be able to relate to doing that. And yeah, certainly I didn't grow up like that, but the bloke next door, the young lad next door to me did. So from time to time, I'd go around there, or any time I had the chance to go and do that, I would. So
always a highlight of the school holidays when Dad would walk in with a pack of 300 or 400 rounds in the tin, and you knew you're up for a good couple of days.
Yeah, not wrong. So air off was the first one. Did that interest in firearms continue there, or was there a break at all?
No, it stopped.
Stopped?
Yeah, it was. I don't think I was uninterested. I just went and did other things.
Girls.
Yeah, basically. And then probably I'd say early 20s, I got back into it. Greg rang me up one day. He's like, "You want to go in the range, go shoot some metallic silhouette?"
Yep.
And went down there and did that with the 22, and I was back in it again. Got my gun license and went from there. Bought a 22, I think, like most people do for their first rifle, and went from there.
Yeah, fantastic. And so what was that first rifle?
I've still got it. It's a Savage Mark II, stainless steel. Nothing fancy, with like a Leupold 4-12 scope on it, and just sits in my safe and never gets used now. But it's a hard one to sell, I think. Yeah, a hard one to move on. It's the first one I bought, so it'll probably sit there, and it's no family heirloom, but I'll probably still give it to my little boy when he's old enough. He can have a play with that one. Yeah,
fantastic. And so when after the 22 or the Savage, where did you go to from there?
I went and got a Savage 243.
Okay, you're already into the brands by then. You were just like, oh, I love this brand.
I think it shot all right, and I was like, oh, well, hopefully this centerfire thing does the same. To be honest, I didn't know a lot about. Didn't really know anything about centerfires when I bought that.
Yep.
And it was a pretty quick learning curve.
Yeah, I bet.
Got into reloading almost straight away.
Yeah. Okay. How old were you at this stage?
Yeah, I reckon 22, maybe 23, something like that.
Yep.
Maybe a little bit. Wouldn't be much older.
Okay.
And then I got introduced to F class.
Right, around that age.
Yeah, somewhere in that sort of 1 year period. Went down to the lower light, and the guys down there were really friendly.
Yep.
So let us have a bit of a shoot. I think they happened to be shooting 1,000 metres the day I was there. I thought, this is fun.
How'd you go with your Savage 243?
Oh, I definitely didn't use that.
Fair enough.
Kind enough went out the first time and had a few shots with. It's much like our club, really. New people come out and people are handing you rifles left, right, and centre to have a try with. It's really good.
Yeah, nice.
And I think I jumped in. I went all the way, bought a custom rifle, Barnard action, single shot, big straight barrel, and the works. And
Yep.
built a F-class rifle and went from there.
And went from there. So, how did that go for you? How was the F-class scene? How many years did you shoot in that?
On and off. I worked fly in, fly out during that period. So I was away for decent periods of time. Then I used to come back and I'd maybe get 2 weekends in, or maybe an OPM or a Queen's or something like that. If it was,
what's an OPM?
That's a what do they call it? An open medal.
Okay.
Open prize meet. Sorry.
Right.
Open prize meet. So that'll be a like a club match. Their one match for the year sort of thing that they put on. That's sort of a bit more meaningful than the usual weekend matches that they do.
Sure.
And the Queen's is a state level sort of match. It's kind of national as well, but they have a Queen's in each state all around the country each year.
And is there a nationals type deal? They
generally put one range per year. That will be the nationals around the state. So one of the Queens, they rotate it around the place. Okay. Victoria, South Australia, or whatever.
Yeah, right.
I never shot any in state. I shot a couple of them in South Australia. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed that actually.
What optics did you use during that period?
All night force. Mostly the bench rest, the 8 to 32 or the 12 to 42. Mm-hmm. Second focal plane. Yeah. With the really fine reticle, eighth click MOA.
So how was that going from your experience with your Savage 243 across to a Barnard action with the Night Force? There was fair or difference. Do you remember the scope you were running on your 243? Yeah,
that would have been. It was cheap. I reckon it was a Nico Sterling or something like that. It was. I certainly didn't pay a lot for it.
Yep.
Night and day. The 243 quickly became a spotlighting gun, and the comp gun was very dedicated for that type of thing.
Yep.
But I mean, as a spotlighting gun, say 200 meters and under, the Nico Sterling's probably wasn't out of place. But you're not going to have the level of detail or the level of accuracy of the Night Force.
Yep. Okay. Oh, very good. And from a reloading point of view, you said you were reloading pretty early on. What did you start off with reloading?
I bought a Lee press.
Yep.
I think I might have bought some RCBS, just the standard dies. Mm-hmm. And at the beam scales. Mm-hmm. I got sick of that pretty quick. I bought a Charge Master.
Oh, nice.
And I've had that, actually, to be honest, I've had that up until recently.
Okay.
I sold it only a few weeks ago.
Yeah, right. And the Charge Master?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I've still got the Lee press.
Mm-hmm.
That's my decapping setup at the moment.
Yep, sure.
That's about all that gets used for.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, and I sort of learnt. Actually, the Savage was an interesting rifle because while I was sort of learning about load development, seating depths and that sort of stuff, it used to be a minute gun at 100 meters no matter what I did. It was a bit of an interesting one. I couldn't make it shoot much worse and I couldn't make it shoot much better.
Yep.
I've never really gone back to it, I suppose. It's a minute gun for spotlighting is good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Very much good enough.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's have you used it any time recently? Does it ever come out?
Yeah, I used it at a club match, I think last year.
Yeah, okay. How'd you go with it?
It didn't come last. I think I might have dropped the Night Force on it.
Okay.
To make life a little bit easier.
To make it a bit easier. Yeah.
I think I came up to visit you and bought half a dozen things and forgot to get projectiles, if I remember correctly, and then went home to reload and realised that I didn't have what I needed.
That's probably likely. Yeah.
Pulled the 243 out and shot a club match.
Yeah. Okay. Oh well, that's and obviously it went okay. And that's probably a testament that you can, good shooter can make some average gear work pretty well.
Yeah, 4-shot mags weren't fun.
Yeah, but fair enough.
It was a bit different. It doesn't have a brake,
mm-hmm.
so the whole recoil management thing becomes a little bit more important.
Yep.
It was actually a good thing to drop back to expose some perhaps weaknesses or flaws in your technique.
Mm-hmm.
That not controlling recoil perhaps as good as you could.
Mm-hmm.
Used to having a nice heavy rifle with a brake and all that sort of stuff, well balanced.
Yep.
Lets you get a little bit slack sometimes, I think.
Yeah, it makes you get back to those fundamentals, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Makes them pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah, right. And so we met on a training course that we did
That's right.
ages ago, and you came over from an F class, and you were sort of sniffing about practical precision rifle side things. I don't even remember what gear you were running on that particular course. Do you remember?
I think we first met. I came to
you did
one of your catch ups about the Applied Ballistics app.
That's right.
Popped in and I'd used it a little bit, but I had no idea of the features beyond punch in your muzzle velocity and punch in your range and see what comes out the other end.
That's right. Back when I used to know what I was doing, I actually ran a course for Applied Ballistics apps. We used to meet up in a hotel and spend 2 hours going through every sort of button you can press and every option you could set.
That's right.
That was a while ago. I'm not sure if I'd be all over that anymore. But, yeah. Okay.
That was been good 4 or 5 years ago, maybe 4 years ago.
At least 4. Yeah.
I think it'd be even. Yeah, it would be all of 4 years.
Longer.
Yeah, it could be a bit longer.
They were good. They were good fun. Do you still use Applied Ballistics?
I've got a Kestrel now, so I guess I still use it, but I flick between the two. So at the range, it's pretty common at our club for someone to come up and ask, how do I get some load data to get out to 500 metres or something like that?
Yeah.
And Applied Ballistics on your phone is pretty quick and easy to measure up, their scope offset and put the lab radar open, or grab some velocity and stuff like that.
Yep.
And get some data for them to go out to 500 metres. So I use that quite a bit, but not so much for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I use the Kestrel pretty much exclusively for myself.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Very good. So when and then we delved down that path of actually getting involved in precision rifle.
Mm-hmm.
What did you sniff out first?
I ended up buying a Tikka TAC A1, 6.5 Creed.
Yep.
I don't have a ponytail, but I chopped it off.
So what brought you to buying that as your first gun in that? Because obviously you were a pretty experienced shooter by this point, and you were doing really well F class. You probably talked down how well you did, but you did very well in F class from everything I understand. And so you're very proficient, and you've gone into this new discipline, and you've chosen the TAC A1 to start with. What were your decision?
Knowing how much it costs to build a custom rifle,
Mm-hmm.
and it was something that I thought I wanted to do,
Yep.
but I didn't want to just jump $10,000 in the hole to find out in 6 months' time that I didn't really enjoy it.
Yep.
And the Tikka was a happy midpoint.
Okay.
It looked from all reviews. I mean, Tikkas shoot great anyway.
Yep.
From all the reviews, it looked like it was semi-suitable for the task. I mean, it's more than semi-suitable for the task. It's pretty good actually.
Yeah, it does the job. Yeah, well and truly.
I jumped into that one. I thought, well, if I don't get into the whole PRS thing, it's not a bad rifle for a bit of long range or a bit of hunting or something on those lines. A bit heavy for hunting, but a bit of long range shooting or something like that.
Yep.
And for a period there, I used it in both. I didn't have a break on it to start with. That didn't last long.
Mm-hmm.
And I was shooting F-class matches with it and doing a little bit of PRS stuff with it too.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was definitely a money-driven thing that I was not willing to jump all in until I really knew I was into it.
And did you bring a scope across from your F-class rifle, or did you get something dedicated?
No. I ended up buying a Night Force ATACA.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Jump on there.
Didn't you just say this was a money-driven thing to go the cheaper option, and then you've gone for one of the more expensive scopes in the range?
I got a deal on that thing.
Okay.
I paid not a lot for it.
Okay.
But I'm just trying to remember if I actually put something else on it in the meantime.
Did you have a Viper or something like that? I seem to remember you had something as an interim.
I've got a Bushnell, like second focal plane, it's like the early tacticals with MOA turrets and mil dot reticle. It's super easy to use.
Yeah.
I reckon that might have been on it for a while. And then I might have jumped into the ATACA as I was getting a bit more confident that was what I wanted to do.
Yep. Yeah, okay. All right. Obviously, that's worked well for you. You still run that one currently?
I still run both.
Okay.
So the ATACA, is still on that rifle. I still have the TAC A1, but the chassis is gone.
Oh, okay. Well, take us through that. Turfing a chassis. Yeah.
I got to the point where, as my skills developed, I started to feel that the TAC A1 wasn't the best balanced rifle for me.
Sure.
They're very back heavy.
Yep.
Not the heaviest barrel, not the longest barrel, and especially with the hinge stock, the butt stock.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of weight behind the rifle.
Is that different on the non-hinged? Have you played with that at all?
I think there's a difference in weight, but I don't think it's huge. They're still back. They're still back heavy.
Still. Yeah.
So yeah, I was sort of playing around that. I put some of the weights on the I think they're MDT, the M-Lock weights to try and balance it up.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that actually pushed me over the edge to get rid of it and get the ACC was the Arca Swiss being built into the ACC chassis.
Right.
I had a rail on there, one of the Ingenuity Gunworks rails that's got the all different attachments. Because it's got like a little detent button. You can slide all your mounts backwards and forwards.
Mm-hmm.
I had that on there. And that was working well. It's good for a bike. It's really good for a bipod. It's really quick.
Mm-hmm.
It's but on the sitting in the bags, it's not real wide. I think they're only about 20-25 mil wide. And the rifle used to sort of rock sideways a little bit when it was sitting in the bag.
Yeah,
so I was looking for something with a nice flat base.
Yep.
And then starting to get interested in the whole tripod shooting and that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The Arca Swiss really started to appeal to me. So I
made some difference. Yeah.
got rid of the TAC A1 stock.
Yep.
And grabbed the MDT ACC.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been great since then. It's really well balanced. I've had the rifle rebarreled in the meantime.
Okay. Yep.
A heavier barrel, longer barrel. And now it sits. You can just put it on a bag and walk away, and it just stays put. It's really well balanced, and it's really making it easier for me to do my bit.
Yeah, nice. And so, did you try any other chassis? Did you get hands on with a few?
Yeah, I was at the club. Essentially, I'd try everybody's. I'm not fussy.
No, I'm talking about chassis.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. What others were contenders for you?
I really like the Manners stocks.
Okay.
As well. I've got a 22 in a Manners T4.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I really, really liked it. I still really like it actually, but the adjustability and the modularity of the chassis ended up pointing me in that direction.
Yep.
Being able to tune the weight, that was pre-weight kits and those sorts of things in the Manners stocks and such. And being able to move the weights forwards and backwards to get my balance point where I wanted it was ultimately where I put it in that direction. And the pistol grips as well, so you can adjust them forwards or back to get your finger sitting on the trigger nicely. It just had it's that whole adjustability thing that really sold me.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that was so no other chassis that were out there that you looked at and contended with, or
the KRG.
Yeah. Okay.
The X-Ray, I liked.
Did it come down to price? Actually, the X-Ray is a bit cheaper, isn't it?
It is a bit. Yeah. To be honest, the thing that really pushed me in that direction was the Arca Swiss being milled into the bottom.
Being built in, yeah.
It was just
it's a real winner.
It's super convenient, and it's got the other thing it's got is a super long forend. The ACCs are probably a good 100 mil, maybe even a bit more longer than a lot of the other chassis out there.
Okay,
means I can get my bipod further forward.
Mm-hmm.
Bit more of a sort of options, I guess.
Yeah.
But they were probably the KRG and the ACC were the two front runners for me.
Yep.
The MPA is nice as well. Just for me, didn't quite have the features for the money that the ACC had.
It's been when that came out, it was certainly up. Yeah, I thought it was MDT's sort of best launch that they did, because the EWS was sort of the right path, but it wasn't quite there. Yep. And the ACC just came out and sort of dropped that price point down. I still prefer the KRG personally, but that's talking about the not the X-Ray. I'm getting confused now. The whiskey.
Yeah.
But it also comes with a price ticket above it.
Absolutely.
A few more features and bits and pieces you can bolt on and such, but yeah, it ends up being pricey. And so I think that MDT has been real impressive. Yeah.
I think honestly, I think a custom gun for me is in the works at some point in the future, but for now the ticker action and the MDT is doing it's still doing more than I can.
That's the thing I think that many people sort of think, oh, they've got to go down and get a custom built gun and all that sort of gear. But if you're doing well, and you are, I mean, you are dominating at our club and you're continually winning and leading whatever it is, and I suspect you were primed for 2020, weren't you? You were probably ready and pumping. Yeah. So, and that's with a ticker, albeit with bits and pieces bolted on to make it more yours.
Yep.
But it certainly hasn't held you back watching.
Not at all.
No, and I think that's where the custom guns are awesome. We're definitely, no doubt, many of our other guests for this show will be running custom guns and delve into it, why they went that way. Why haven't you? Is there a particular reason you haven't gone, or is it just that everything's working well?
Everything is working well.
Yeah.
You're looking at what, $2,500 to $3,000 for a custom action.
Yeah.
$1,000 plus for a barrel to be fitted.
Yep.
With your stock, all that sort of stuff, and it's that whole, I've mentioned it before, it's that point of diminishing returns.
Sure.
Until I can outshoot my ticker,
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any value in spending that double what I've invested into this for maybe a 2 or 3% return on investment or return in performance.
Yeah.
When the rifle becomes a limiting factor for me of me getting better,
Then it's time.
I'll build a custom rifle.
What has your attention, if you were to go down that path of an action? Is there any actions you're eyeing off potentially?
Yeah.
Or if you had to build, if you went to your safe now and you found your ticker had just fallen apart, which I'm sure it won't. But if it had somehow miraculously your ticker got COVID and you have to ship it off to Victoria, what would you get?
That's a good question.
Cheers, mate. I thought I framed it well with the whole current reference.
I really like the Barnard action, but obviously they do a repeater, but it's not really designed for what we do.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed having that as a single shot, but that's out of the question.
Mm-hmm.
The impacts are really nice.
Yeah.
Really like those.
Yeah.
Or a Defiance, probably up there. I mean, there's so many good ones now as well. It's like,
there is.
To be honest, if someone gave me a Curtis Custom, if they gave me one of those, I'd have it.
Yeah.
There's so many out there that are good quality, but I'll probably lean towards the Defiance or the Impact.
Okay.
Be the direction I'd be.
Yeah, I'm looking for a final answer from you.
Impact, right?
Okay.
Impact.
Okay. We've made the decision. Yeah, because you're right, and we will. We've got a couple of guests lined up who have gone down that path and had to decide between those top 3-4 options, and interesting to hear why they went one way or another. But you're not there yet,
No.
So it'll be interesting to check in with you in a year or two, perhaps, as to where you're up to with that decision, if you
sure.
are. Optics still running the ATAC R on that gun.
Yep, a 5 to 25.
Yep, mounts,
Spur mount.
spur mounts.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a piece of equipment. That thing.
Not wrong.
I'm guilty for picking my rifle up by the scope. I know I shouldn't, but I do, and it never affects the zero. So
Yeah,
you couldn't do that with a lot of mounts or rings.
I'm sure this story went on the podcast last night, but I hadn't had my scope on my gun since March, and then I took it up on the weekend. The club gun wasn't quite ready to go, so I thought, I'll do that. I had some new shooters there, and I need to shoot a centerfire. I went, I'll just put this back on. We'll have a crack at 200 and see what happens. Put it back on, locked it back off just by hand, and we're still dead on target to about that sort of target.
Nice.
At 200 metres. I went, that'll be fine. So we dialed out to 500 and we were on target first round.
Very nice.
So, spur, solid. Can't complain about that.
Not at all, yeah.
No. What about, well, actually, we're going to get into reloading in a moment. So one of the things that it might become a regular thing on this show, perhaps, is about this shelf. Certainly, it was the goal in the last episode. Now I'm addressing a camera. It was the goal in the last series, but we never quite got there. We just kept chatting away. But so at the moment, there's a few different things on this shelf, so I'm going to show you a couple of things. So of course, I got the Stage 1 hat because everyone needs one of those. Grab them because there's some new ones coming very soon. So check that out. We'll put that back up there. Have you played with any of those, mate? Have a look. Hold that up to your camera, and that's the Boscobel thing. I've actually got one of them open here.
Okay,
so
let me have a look.
we
No,
don't
I
have to-
honestly haven't.
Don't have to rip that one apart. There
I thought
you
this
go.
was a keep. No, it's not for
Oops,
keeping. Cool.
oops. I'm dropping things. Anyway, I'll pass that one over to you. That one's open, but this is from Boscobel from WA. Obviously, we're talking gear, so we may as well look at some of the gear. And plus, I've got a couple of prizes from PRS sitting here that are waiting till next year, so let's check them out. So these are replacements for the Atlas, so they'll go into the Atlas setup. I believe this is an Atlas one. And then the feet, a big selection, we'll chuck over Plushy. You've got the selection of feet there.
Yeah, for sure. You've got
sorts
you've
of
got some
stuff.
nice flat rubbers. I take it that'll be for
Something grippy.
shipping off the bench
Yeah.
or maybe sand or something like that if it's diving in. You've got some.
You got these things that are pretty much, I think, they would hurt.
They
They
look
were, in
dangerous.
fact,
Yeah.
Oh, good catch. I'm very impressed. That could have taken an eye out.
That might come back a whole lot faster.
Oh, dear. All right, good.
We've got these 3-prong
the
ones.
cleats?
Yeah, they'd be not bad for some barricadey type stuff. Or
Ooh,
that's
good.
not bad. What else we got? It looks like might be an adapter for the feet.
That's the that one there's the adapter for the feet, so that goes in there. I think they're doing a Harris now, or at least they've been testing a Harris, so that's worth checking out.
Yeah, that's not bad. It gives you some options for just shooting off the bench as well. It's,
Yeah. All sorts of stuff from
Yeah,
Oscar Bell.
that's pretty impressive.
So we'll chuck that one back up on the shelf. Here's a special deal. These headphones, earmuffs, electronic earmuffs from Scoped Out, $39. I'll tell you now, they're not amazing. They're nothing super special. The M31s are better, but $39. Mate, yep, that'll do the trick. Second pair or something along those lines.
some for the kids.
For some guests that come along or anything like that, that will pretty cheap for electronics. And of course, got a little bit of merch there. There's a couple of things from Huntsman. I don't know if you guys have seen these. We're gonna have to refocus that bad boy. Let's do that there. Not vegan approved. The Huntsman stubby cooler. So, whoops, I'm taking photos with this camera, and some of that. So that's what's on the shelf this week. I guess the idea of that is to see what's on there next week. No doubt we'll have some sort of gear to play with. But, yeah, the Boscobel stuff, definitely worth checking out. WA company. So, awesome. Put that back up there. Excellent. Now, I was going to delve into reloading with you. So, because you recently pimped out your reloading setup a little bit. What have you changed?
You don't tell the wife, but I've spent a bit of money lately.
She's not watching, I
I
guarantee
hope
it.
so, yeah. What have I done? I've got to the point, like I mentioned, with the the ticker. I think the reloading equipment I had was starting to hold me back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking for a little bit more accuracy, a little bit more precision.
Yep.
So I've got rid of the old Charge Master and gone with the A&D scales. And there's an
Very nice.
auto trickler on the way.
Yep.
When it finally gets here.
Yep.
What else have I done? I've gone down the
what press are you running?
just a Rock Chucker Supreme, I think it is.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, nothing too fancy.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the look of those new Area 419 ones that they've been.
Oh yeah, I
talking
did
about
see.
today.
I did see that. That
So
did look.
It looks
That
impressive.
looks amazing.
Yeah.
It's you carry on. We're going to try to bring one of those up because that looks
It's a piece
incredible.
of equipment. The price tag suits as well.
Yeah, right.
I think it was about $1,200 US.
Ooh,
That's probably
okay.
That's probably going to land at about
that's some
$2,000,
serious,
maybe 1,800.
some serious coin there. Yeah, that's not a cheap press. I believe at some point Danny from Delta is going to come on, so we'll have to ask him about that. Given that they are the agents, let's just have a little. Oh wow, okay, here we go. I think we should be able to bring this up on screen because we've done it like that. There we go. So that's the press there. Look at that. That's an impressive. Not that you can see it, but that's an impressive.
Well, I was looking
thing.
this morning. It's an impressive piece of kit. They put some R&D into that.
Yeah. Wow, that's solid, and it's a turret press.
Yeah.
So you've got all your dies. Your dies will sit in there, but that looks like a very solid turret press. Want to be for the coin. Anyway, wow. Okay, well, one of them's on your horizon because you've got all the coin in the world. Yeah.
No, I'm sort of at a crossroads at the moment where I'm sort of deciding whether I go down the Frankfurt Arsenal path or the the Forster coax or something like that,
Mhm.
or even the bench mounted, not the like the 21st Century or the Wilson.
Yeah.
I forget what they're actually called, to be honest.
Yeah,
I forget what they are.
I can't help you out. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but they're a little bit different to the O-ring or the O-frame press.
Yeah.
And it's a lot more portable. I'm thinking that you could put that in a suitcase or the back of your car or something along those lines easily, and take it with you. You can seat. It's more seating that I'm interested in. For that, you can seat out on the road, so to speak.
Yeah.
Do a bit of load development, or if you've got a problem, you might be able to do something about it.
I'll be able to fix it while you're out there.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I'm sort of looking at which direction I go. Whether I'm looking to upgrade the rock chucker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not quite sold on where I'm going yet.
Anything on the annealing side of things?
Yeah, I've got a case annealer, which is like a map gas torch annealer with a bit of auto feed setup. It's good. I wouldn't say it's 100% consistent. You get a bit of heat variation with the depending on the gas level in your bottles and stuff like that. So you got to watch it.
Yep.
So on the horizon will be an amp annealer at some point in time.
Very nice.
At some point. But
Did you? Is the one that you've got currently? Is that your first annealer? Like,
Yes. Yeah, it is.
Okay, so that's what you've started off with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It served me well, to be honest. They're pretty well priced. They're pretty competitively priced.
Mm-hmm.
I've been annealing every firing for my brass, and it seems to keep it pretty consistent.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a routine I've got into, and because it auto feeds, it's pretty simple, really. You set it, and I wouldn't walk away from it, but definitely can be doing something else in the same room while it's doing its thing.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, I think it's always interesting, mate. We've got a few comments starting to stream in a little bit, so let's delve into them, guys who are watching. If you have got any comments or questions for any of the gear that Plushy has talked about using, or anything you want to know, hit us up in the comments now. We'll take a few moments to delve into those. So bear with me while I don't look at the camera or at Plushy and just ignore everyone. All right. We'll scroll back a few, but Nick talks about your guns that you've had. They're all heirlooms. Ensure you say so in your will.
Is that Halliwell or?
No, different
different
Nick.
Okay.
Have you got them in your will?
No, I don't.
Something
That's dangerous
to consider. Okay. My first gun was a Beretta Silver Pigeon shotgun.
Nice.
So I do hope to keep that around. Yeah, it's one that I'll probably won't
I think
get rid of.
there's something a bit special about it, isn't it? The first one.
Yeah, and that's why I tried to make my first one not just a $10 little 22 thing, but it is what it is. Alex is saying they're back in lockdown in Victoria, and this show is back on. Well, yep, there's that's not entirely accidental. I figured, well, we may as well kick it off this week because hopefully some people will be stuck home watching it. Right. Ruben asks, will they work with the MDT psych pod? I'm assuming you're talking about these ones, mate. I think they either have done or are doing a version for the Skypod. Skypod, I always say that. Skypod. I think they've
got
got
a feeling like they're interchangeable with the Atlas ones already.
Oh, really?
I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me.
Ah, okay. Controversial already on episode 1.
I've got one, but I can't remember.
I guess, so if anyone has that, I didn't think they were, but you could be right.
I could be, yeah.
Could be right, could be wrong. If anyone knows better than either of us, probably you should be on a show. But anyway, if you do know, let us know if they do interchange between Atlas and the NBT. I don't think it is. Right. Ironside says 100% of live streams with a host that wears an Ironside hat have proved to be awesome. It's science.
Nice.
Bit of a shout out to Ironside. They do good stuff. Who knows? They may be on the shelf next week.
It's like colour coordinate with my beer.
It does colour coordinate with you.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's good. Hats, beers, chairs. It's like orange is the colour of Impact Dynamics. Yeah. Oh, it's funny that. All right, Paul is here, and Paul's from the US. One of our US followers is on board, so excellent. I don't know. We're back on Facebook. We kicked off the last show with one episode on Facebook, so I am trying to learn my way around Facebook Live because we think we might get a few more people joining in. But here we go. Craig says they work with MDT and Atlas and Magpul too. Oh, so they're all the same, mate. I'm guessing that means that they're all in change. You were right. You're all right, Plushy.
Thanks for admitting that, Rusty.
That's
It means
right.
a lot to me.
Just flicked it over to you to get the smug look. Yep. Is that enough smugness yet? Have we?
Smugness, yeah.
Yeah, we've yeah, perfect, excellent, enough smugness. All right, good, excellent. And there is an adapter you can get to make these work with Harris as well. Yeah, sweet. Cool. I think that's it for comments. Unless a few more stream in, that'll cover us for the time being. Now, where were we up to? We talked about all sorts of stuff. What we haven't talked about, Plushy, is all the other bits and pieces that you might use for a PRS side of things. Or even before, some of the things like bags, bipods, other accessories, and what you've used and what you've hated and what you've not hated and stuff like that. To give us a bit of an overview of that.
Yeah, for sure. I think the first really cool accessory I bought was when I shot F-Class. I bought it's called a Seb Neo rest.
Yeah.
They're super expensive. They're up around the $1,500 mark. But it's controlled by a joystick, super stable, and you essentially... It's got you move it up, it goes up, you move it down, it goes down. So you have a fixed rear rest, like a nice solid sandbag, and then you basically aim with the handle that is sitting in front of you, under your left hand. And it was sort of a road down that path of like that accessory sort of really enhancing what you're doing, as opposed to shooting off a bipod or a fixed front rest or something on those lines.
Yep.
So that was pretty cool. What I end up with then, I got into the Atlas bipods. They're good value for money, really good value for money.
Did you start with a Harris or copy or anything like that, or just straight to Atlas?
I had Harris on hunting guns.
Okay.
But I pretty much grabbed as soon as I started doing anything sort of target related or something like that, I went for something a bit more sturdy.
Yep.
And grabbed one of those.
Okay.
Bags, wow! Like how many bags can one person have?
All the bags.
Yeah.
All the bags.
I've learned a lesson now.
Okay.
So
take us through your lessons.
So Tim, if you're watching, you tell Tim about a new product and he buys it, and then I get to try it,
so
and I decide if I need it or not.
Yeah.
But actually, no. That comment is pretty relevant at the club or the range or a PRS event or anything like that. The community is brilliant. Like if you're looking at a rifle or a chassis or a scope or anything like that, all you have to do is say, "Can I have a look?" And it's going to be yes.
Pretty much.
Nobody's going to say no unless they're about to shoot a stage or something.
Yeah,
Maybe they'll say no.
Choose your timing appropriately, but
absolutely.
Right.
Number one piece of advice would be try before you buy.
Yes.
I've got a couple of bags that sit at home that I don't use.
What? So, do you know the list of bags that you have tried?
It's not ridiculous, but I've definitely got. It's not the pump pillow; it's the Armageddon, the wedge pump pillow thing, whatever that is.
Okay.
I actually use that a lot.
Okay.
I've got the OG Game Changer.
Mm-hmm.
That gets used a fair bit. Got a solo sack.
Yes.
Actually gets used a fair bit as well. I carry a lot of bags in my backpack.
Yep.
I've also just got one of the new mediums on the way.
Yep.
LVG's just grabbed those ones in and waiting for that to rock up.
Is that officially the best named bag in the PRS, the Schmedium?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it, yeah.
Good.
I've got what else have I got? One of the run and guns, the SAP run and gun bags.
Yep.
I probably actually don't use that one anymore. It's still attached to my carry around bag.
Yep.
I actually couldn't tell you the last time I used it.
Yep.
That'd be close to what I've got now.
Okay.
I'm sort of looking to condense that with, potentially, thanks Victoria, because now we're not going to Darwin for a PRS match.
Still going to Darwin.
But I'm still going to Darwin too. Yeah, absolutely. But it's not official. I'm trying to condense those bags down to a pump pillow style bag, and one like the Smedium was kind of the theory. Yeah, to keep the weight down, and it's a lot of bags to carry around.
Okay.
Take all of them.
Yep.
I didn't. I did buy the Smedium without trying it because there was obviously none here. But what we did do, we went down and shot at Zulmi's place down in the southeast.
Oh yeah.
When Corona sort of just before it really got bad, when it was sort of
talking about
shutting borders down and stuff like that. There was about 6 or 7 of us went down there, and we had a barricade, and we ended up with every bag you could imagine on this barricade. And it was actually brilliant because everybody got to try their rifles or whichever they wanted on all the different bags at the exact same time, and we ended up. My game changer is I thought it was really steady, and it's got the light bead feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried. Nick's got a pint-sized game changer with the sticky wax finish, and it's got the heavy sand.
Mm-hmm.
The wobble on the sand versus the light feel.
Yeah.
There was a noticeable difference. The wobble I think we had a gong at say 600 meters.
Mm-hmm.
I could contain my wobble with the full size game changer to maybe half the target, sort of around there. With the pint size with the sand, it was a bullseye gong. I was holding the bullseye essentially off of a barricade. It was a noticeable difference.
Yeah. Okay.
We had tactical udders and fortune cookies. It was great
Mm-hmm.
to be able to try everything and really get a feel for what you like. And that's what sold me on this medium. When it popped up, it's sort of slightly bigger, but still not much.
Yep.
Got the heavy sand fill and the waxy finish.
Yeah, fantastic. There is no end of bags, and I think that is it continue to be more and more options. And
Definitely.
I think as you pointed out, it can be pretty personal. If you can be in a position where you can have 10 bags in front of you to try, that is an amazing spot to be in.
It is, and that's why a club or a match or a practice day before a PRS event or something along those lines, where there's going to be 20, 30, 40 bags on the line, you're going to try pretty much everything there is out there and really see what you like.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just having a little look at the. I'm trying to work out if it is medium or schmedium, because I want it to be schmedium.
Schmedium sounds way better.
Sounds way better. And if it's not, they definitely should change the name of it.
We'll just get an Irish person to pronounce it.
But I fear it may not be, and I can't find it on the Lovis website. Maybe it's hiding away somewhere.
It's probably sold out already.
Yeah,
it's been pretty popular. I think there's a lot of people got their name down on that one.
Okay, I can't even find it. Anyway, clearly I'm not a fay with delving into it. Anyway, that's worthwhile, I think. And there is also a lot to be said that one of the reasons we have so many bags is because we're often trying to find one that will do everything well. But in reality, you could take all your bags to a match, and if you knew them well and you knew which ones to work out and apply in certain scenarios, you could utilise several of them, and that would be more ideal. But of course, that means that you've got to practice with all of them a lot.
Yeah.
So because there's nothing worse than using a bag that you're not familiar with and fumbling through, and you have to carry them with you. And when you're about to fly to Darwin, that is not good. So it's certainly a balancing act between having 7 bags and knowing how to use them all extremely well, and actually carrying 7 bags and just going with 1 or 2. Well, what about any other pieces of equipment that you run? Is there any gear that you like?
I made the switch from the Atlas bipod to the Skypod.
Okay.
Psych-pod or however.
Sky. It's definitely Sky.
Yeah,
I just say it wrong, and I have no idea why I say it wrong, but I do. Maybe at some point when I heard the name, I got told the wrong name from day one, and maybe it's stuck with me. It's my area. I'm probably the only person in the world now who does that.
Probably not.
Probably not. Appreciate the support, dude.
No, so when I sort of went down the ACC with the Arca Swiss,
yep.
I was looking to make it one mounting system across all of my platform, like all of my, like my spotter, my rifle, my bipod, the tripod, all of that stuff, just one, rather than multiple ways of attaching things to rifles. It's just super convenient.
Sure.
Pretty much everybody runs it. So if you're going to a Darwin match or maybe Biggenden or something like that, everyone doesn't have to take their own tripod. You can share it around potentially if as long as they got Arca Swiss amongst some people, try and keep your weight down and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was when I decided to go with the Skypod with the Arca rail on it.
Yep.
And it's, in my opinion, it's so much better than the Picatinny rail, because you just loosen off your thumb wheel and you can slide it backwards and forwards. Yeah. You jump on a barrel or something like that and you loosen it off, and as you walk up, you just slide it forwards, lock it off, and you're basically shooting off of a bench.
Yep.
And it turns a stage that you might have dropped a couple of targets to an almost a very cleanable stage and an almost gimme stage at times.
Yeah,
if you can get that good position.
Yeah, and that's even Atlas now are able to ship with with the Arca
Nice.
mounts as
Yep.
well with the 491.
Oh, that's cool.
491
Yep.
mounts. So, yeah, it's certainly not just you who's noticed that. Many people around the world have noticed that, and certainly it's become a really good option. So, yeah. So in all the things that you've bought, a couple of questions to wrap up. Is there something that you bought and were surprised by how good, how significant, how different to your expectations it was in a positive way? Is there anything that comes to mind on that? I'm asking the tough questions.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, cheers, man. Well, you can pad out the answer if you like, maybe by answering what's the single worst piece of equipment you've ever spent money on that. Yeah, sorry, you have to narrow it down to one.
There's definitely been a couple. 3-piece cleaning rod.
All right, apart from the guineas, apart from the obvious ones.
Right, so lately I haven't bought anything that surprised me. I generally put a lot of research and a lot of thought into things before I buy now.
Yep.
So I'd be a little bit surprised or disappointed if I bought something and it didn't perform how I expected.
Yep.
So I don't think I'd be surprised anymore. I think probably when I bought the Game Changer was the first sort of barricade bag I bought.
Yep.
And I was sort of like everybody else trying to use maybe like the SAP running gun bag or
Yep.
no bag or anything like that. And it's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. 2 hard surfaces together and it just wobbles. And,
Yeah.
you move and off you go.
Yep.
I reckon the Game Changer, dropping that on, it was just like, wow.
Yep.
Instead of trying to time shots when the wobble's in the right spot, you're now choosing whereabouts on the target or whereabouts off the target you want to hold. It was a big difference.
Is that, I assume that's your answer for the most surprising one, not for the worst thing you've ever bought. Okay, good. Just clarifying because I changed my question. What about the worst thing? Is there apart from 3-piece cleaning rods, is there something that just didn't quite work out as you planned?
Particularly, I remember bought a reloading kit and it came with a powder throw. I did think that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then I weighed things and realised it was pretty uncool.
That'll work. That was the leak kit, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And you've ended up with an A&D, so you've certainly contrasted that.
Yeah, that's right.
Fantastic, mate. Fantastic. I'm just checking, make sure we've covered what we were going to do. Yeah, one more thing. Is there anything out at the moment that's got your attention apart from the press?
The amp, yes. We spoke about that briefly. Yeah, I really like the look of that. Yeah, there is actually. So 21st Century, and I think K&N tools. I'm on a bit of a path to get consistency with my reloading, like maximum consistency with my reloading. And I still find that I get a little bit of, I use bushing dies, like Reading competition bushing dies. So I'm using good quality dies with...
Just, sorry, Plushy, excuse me for a moment. My back's twinging at the moment. So I'm going to run out for a moment, just try and give it a proper stretch out. Please let everyone know what you were eyeing off.
No worries. All right, I'll try and drive this. Yeah, so I use the Reading bushing dies, and I've been finding there's a little bit of inconsistency when I go to seat my projectiles. You can feel it that there's a little bit of variance. So I've been looking into the expander mandrels that K&N and 21st Century, I think Sinclair might do some as well. That you can set your neck tension with the expander mandrels from the inside out. So you'd size, say 3 or 4 thousandths under your target size with a bushing die, and then you'd expand the case back out with the expander mandrels. So they're coming in half of a 1 thou increment in size, so you can really play around with your neck tension. And as opposed to the bushing dies, when the bushing die goes over your brass, if there's a little bit of inconsistency, it'll push it to the inside, and the expander mandrels are pushing that back out to the outside, so you're getting consistent neck tension. That's something that's on my list to play around with now that Rusty's back.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I'm looking in. It's pretty inexpensive, $200-300 for the expander mandrels, the custom expander mandrels that come in half thou increments.
Yep.
So I can play around with my neck tension from the inside rather than the outside, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
Get some more consistency.
Yeah. Right.
So that's probably one that's on the radar immediately.
Nice.
That's probably about it. I've spent enough money the last couple of weeks on reloading stuff, and I'm also going down the path of a 223 AI trainer as well.
Yeah, okay.
So
well, give us a quick rundown on that then.
Yeah, so I do a lot of 22 LR training.
Yep.
And I've been finding that I've been getting a little bit lazy with it. That there's no recoil.
Yes.
And the 22s are so forgiving with bad habits.
Yep.
And I really want to get rid of those any bad habits. Mm-hmm. So I want to go up to a trainer. And so I've looked down the road of a 223 trainer. I think a lot of people have done that.
Yes.
But I've also done a bit of research into the case growth with a standard 223. I'm not a big fan of trimming brass. I hate it.
It's because you don't have a garage trimmer.
Yeah, no,
that's why
I don't. Yeah. I just bought a Sinclair micrometer trimmer the other day, but that's very accurate but very slow.
As I said, you don't have a garage.
Yeah. So I decided to go down for two reasons to go down the AI path. One is so I don't get the trimming like every second firing.
Yep.
And the other one is a little bit extra velocity.
Okay.
I've sort of done the numbers, and if I run a 223 projectile in the 75 to 80 grain range, I think I can get 3,000 feet a second with it with a long barrel, with a 26, 27 inch barrel, which will match. That'll match my comp gun anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Do you run a longer barrel on your comp gun? Do you?
Yeah, mine's 27 inches with a plus a brake.
Yeah. Right.
Lets me run the powder charge a little bit less, get an extra 50, 75 feet a second.
Yep.
Essentially, so I'm running pretty light loads.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that I don't have to push it too hard. I mean, I'm getting 3,050 feet per second, which is getting close to the range limit that we use.
Yep.
But yeah, back to the 223. I sort of with the 75 to 80 grain weight projectiles, I can pretty much match the ballistics for elevation and windage out to 500 meters of my comp gun. Mm-hmm. So almost exactly the same hold. So it's going to be a nice trainer. Should be cheaper to run. It's probably half the powder, similar projectile price, maybe a bit cheaper.
Yep.
And probably 3 times the barrel life. And I'm just going to swap. I'll probably run that at most club matches, to be honest.
Yeah.
And go down that path. I probably won't break it. I'll just leave it as an unbraked rifle.
Yep.
And it should have a fairly similar recoil to the to my comp gun.
Yeah. Yeah, not a silly way to do it. And our club being unique in that it has a 2 to 3 category that we loosely hold to.
I figured you'd kick me out of
it. 2 to 3 actually. Definitely no good.
Yeah.
Definitely no good. You're out. You're back and open. You'll still win. All right. Very good, mate. Well covered. As many people know, I've had back issues and they've been pretty good. They've been getting better, but anyway, it still gives me some grief. Right, well, guys, that's about episode 1. Hopefully that was interesting, good. I know Plushy are always good, full of information. So thanks very much for hanging out on your birthday.
Yeah, thanks for having me, mate.
Yeah, no sweat, dude. And nice to actually be able to do it in the same room. That's really good. So, guys, this is going to go out. This will go up on YouTube, I think. Hopefully, make that all work. This will go out. This will stay on Facebook, of course, and it'll go on the podcast. So if you were subscribed to the ID Live podcast stream, this will go out. This will be a continuation of that. So, and if not, look up ID Live, Impact Dynamics Live on your podcast thing, and in a couple of days, this audio will be there and hopefully very useful. Next Thursday night, very excited to have Jay Orange from Orange Accuracy on to talk about all the equipment peers played with over the years. And so, any questions, make sure in the lead up to that show, hit us up, send them through, and we'll put them to Jay. And also talk about his online training course, which has been launched out recently. So we'll get to the inside goss on all of that. Maybe find a little promo video on that, and be good to go. So, guys, thanks so much for watching. Thanks to Scoped Out. Make sure you check it out if you need some cheap earmuffs or scopes or night vision or thermals or all sorts of stuff on there as well. And tripods are landing soon also, which is one we didn't delve into with your Plushy on the tripod side of things. But I know you run one of the Leo photos. They go well. That's it, guys. Thanks so much for checking out, and we hope to be back next week. I assume we will. Can't see why not. See you then.